Ladies and gentlemen, life begins when you understand that your joy cannot be dependent on anyone else. Many of us go through life seeking happiness from relationships, careers, or social connections, but true fulfillment is born from within. If you learn to enjoy your own company, you unlock a power that no one can take from you. You become unshakable, content, and whole, not because someone completes you, but because you were never incomplete to begin with. When you embrace solitude, you give yourself the chance to grow. Being alone is not isolation, it is preparation. It's where you rediscover yourself, set personal goals, and lay the foundation for an abundant life. The journey to self-contentment is not always easy, but it's essential for your emotional and spiritual well-being. When you learn to be happy alone, relationships become a bonus, not a necessity. Happiness is not something you chase, it is something you cultivate. The mistake many people make is believing that happiness lies somewhere outside themselves. They think, if I get that job, if I marry that person, if I make enough money, then I will be happy. But happiness built on external things is fragile. Circumstances change, people leave, jobs end, and seasons of life shift. If your joy is tied to these temporary things, your peace will always be at the mercy of what happens to you. True happiness comes from understanding that it is not what you have, but who you are that matters. It's the result of aligning yourself with your purpose, living with gratitude, and having peace in your heart, regardless of what life throws your way. Joy is a choice, not an outcome. You must learn to wake up every day and say, today I will be content, whether or not everything goes the way I want. This kind of happiness requires internal work. You have to silence the noise around you and listen to the still voice inside that says you are enough just as you are. It means letting go of comparisons, freeing yourself from the need for validation, and recognizing that your value is not tied to your performance, possessions, or relationships. It is learning to say, even if no one applauds me, I am still worthy. Even if things don't go my way, I can still be at peace. Inner happiness is grounded in identity, not achievement. It is the fruit of knowing that you were created with meaning and value. When you understand this, you stop running after things to complete you. You realize that joy is not in the next promotion, the next relationship, or the next goal. It is in how you choose to live today. Peace and joy reside within you, but you must nurture them. Practice gratitude for what you have, even when life feels imperfect. Forgive yourself for mistakes and release the weight of regrets. Train your mind to see the good even in difficult situations. In doing so, you develop a well of happiness so deep that no storm can drain it. When happiness comes from within, you become free. Free from the need to impress, free from fear of rejection, and free from the constant striving for more. You understand that life may not always be perfect, but that does not mean you cannot be joyful. You carry your peace with you unshaken by the winds of change because you know that the source of your happiness is not out there somewhere. It is within you, right where it has always been. Solitude is not a punishment, it is a gift. It is in the quiet moments, away from distractions, that the soul finds room to breathe and grow. Too often, we fear being alone because we associate solitude with loneliness. But they are not the same. Loneliness is the absence of others, while solitude is the presence of yourself. It is in these moments that you confront who you are, what you believe, and where you are going. Growth cannot happen without these encounters. When you are alone, you have the space to reflect on your life without outside noise influencing your thoughts. It is in solitude that you ask the hard questions. Am I living in alignment with my purpose? What habits are holding me back? What fears are keeping me from becoming my best self? These are the questions that shape your future, and they are only answered in the stillness. Solitude forces you to meet yourself. When there is no one around to entertain you, distract you, or affirm you, you must deal with the raw version of yourself. It's in these encounters that personal growth begins. You start to identify areas where you need to change, whether it's your mindset, your habits, or your relationships, and with that awareness comes the power to grow. Growth is not just about what you do, but about who you become. Solitude provides an environment for transformation, not through external activities, but through internal work. This is where dreams are refined, perspectives shift, and emotional wounds begin to heal. Without solitude, you may become so busy with life's demands that you never take the time to nurture your soul. In solitude, you also cultivate inner strength. When you learn to enjoy being with yourself, you discover a resilience that does not depend on other people's presence or approval. You become comfortable in your own skin. knowing that your value is not tied to anyone's opinion or company. This strength prepares you to navigate relationships and life's challenges from a place of wholeness, not neediness. Use your solitude wisely. It is an opportunity to invest in yourself, set personal goals, and reconnect with the things that matter most to you. Read, reflect, journal, pray, meditate, whatever helps you grow deeper into who you are meant to be. Don't fear being alone, embrace it. It is in these quiet spaces that you evolve. You shed the old version of yourself and step into the person you were created to become. Remember, growth is not loud, it is subtle and happens in the still moments. Seeds grow beneath the soil in darkness before they ever break through the ground. Your time in solitude is the season where your roots deepen. It may feel quiet, even hidden, but it is necessary. When the season shifts and you step back into the world, you will be stronger, clearer, and more grounded. You will know yourself in ways you never did before because you took the time to be alone, and in doing so, you gave yourself the space to grow. You are not incomplete. You were created whole and equipped with everything you need to live a fulfilled life. The idea that you are somehow lacking or that someone else must complete you is a lie that keeps many trapped in cycles of insecurity and dependence. Wholeness is not something you acquire through relationships, achievements, or possessions. It is something you discover within yourself. Until you embrace that truth, you will keep searching for what has been inside you all along. We often believe that certain people or circumstances will fill a void in our lives. If I just find the right partner, I'll feel complete. Or if I reach a certain level of success, I'll be enough. But the danger of this thinking is that it places your identity and self-worth in the hands of something or someone outside of you. And when those things shift, as they inevitably do, you feel lost, as though a part of you has gone missing. The truth is, no relationship, no career, no amount of recognition can make you more whole than you already are. You were designed with purpose, meaning, and value from the start. Life is not about finding pieces to complete you. It's about uncovering the fullness of who you already are. You are not waiting for someone to fill in the gaps. You are learning to embrace your strengths, confront your weaknesses, and grow into the person you are meant to be. Recognizing that you are not incomplete shifts the way you approach relationships. When you no longer expect someone else to complete you, you enter relationships from a place of abundance, not need. You love freely, not because you are desperate for validation, but because you are already secure in who you are. Relationships become a partnership between two whole individuals, two people walking together in growth, not leaning on each other to stand. This realization also changes how you handle solitude. You no longer feel uncomfortable being alone because you understand that you are enough on your own. Your time alone becomes an opportunity to reconnect with yourself and nourish your soul. You discover joy, peace, and fulfillment that do not depend on others. Believing you are already whole gives you the freedom to explore your purpose. You stop waiting for circumstances to align before you move forward. You no longer feel paralyzed by fear or the need for approval. You recognize that you have everything you need to begin right here, right now. This is not to say you will never have areas where you need growth. Everyone does. But growth is about refinement, not completion. You are not a puzzle missing pieces. You are a masterpiece in progress. Each experience, whether joyful or painful, adds to the fullness of who you are becoming. Stop looking outside yourself for what can only be found within. You are not incomplete. You are whole, valuable, and capable just as you are. Everything you need to live a meaningful, abundant life is already inside you. Your journey is not about becoming whole. It is about uncovering the beauty of the wholeness you've had all along. Self-love is not selfish. It is essential. Until you learn to love yourself, you will struggle to receive love from others or give it fully in return. It is impossible to pour into someone else's life from an empty cup. Many people search for love outside themselves, hoping that someone will come along to make them feel worthy, but love starts within. How you see yourself shapes the way you experience life, relationships, and every opportunity that comes your way. Self-love is not a luxury. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Loving yourself means recognizing your inherent worth. It is knowing that you are valuable, not because of what you achieve or who affirms you, but simply because of who you are. Your worth is not something you earn, it's something you carry by design. When you love yourself, you embrace both your strengths and weaknesses without shame. You no longer feel the need to pretend or prove yourself to the world. You accept yourself fully, flaws and all, and understand that growth is part of the journey, not a condition for love. Self-love gives you the power to set boundaries. When you love yourself, you protect your time, energy, and peace. You learn to say no to things and people that do not serve your well-being because you understand that not everything deserves access to you. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out. They are gates to ensure that only what aligns with your values and growth can enter. When you love yourself enough to establish boundaries, you stop living to please others and start living in alignment with your purpose. Practicing self-love also means forgiving yourself. Too often we are kind to others but harsh with ourselves, holding on to past mistakes and regrets. But self-love requires grace, the ability to let go of the things you cannot change and move forward without the weight of guilt. You are a work in progress, and loving yourself means giving yourself room to grow without condemnation. Forgiveness is not just something you extend to others, it is a gift you give yourself. Self-love creates emotional stability. When you love yourself, you stop seeking validation from others to feel good about who you are. You no longer depend on compliments to feel valuable or relationships to feel complete. This stability gives you the freedom to love others without losing yourself in the process. Love flows freely from a person who is already fulfilled within. You don't love out of desperation, you love from a place of strength. The way you love yourself sets the standard for how others will treat you. If you constantly tolerate disrespect or neglect, it sends a message that you do not see yourself as worthy of better. But when you love yourself deeply, you inspire others to treat you with the same respect and care that you give to yourself. People reflect the energy you project, and a person who radiates self-love naturally attracts relationships that honor and uplift them. Self-love is also the foundation for personal growth. When you love yourself, you invest in your development spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. You pursue the things that make you better because you believe you are worth the effort. Self-love motivates you to take care of your body, nurture your mind, and feed your soul. It becomes a compass guiding you toward what is good for you and away from what is not. Remember, self-love is not a destination but a daily practice. It is choosing to speak kindly to yourself, to celebrate your progress, and to rest when you need it. It is recognizing that you are enough even as you strive to become more. When self-love is at the foundation of your life, you build everything else on solid ground. Relationships thrive, purpose becomes clearer, and joy becomes your companion, not because life is always perfect, but because your love for yourself anchors you through every season. Contentment is a magnet for healthy relationships because it changes the way you approach connections with others. When you are content within yourself, you are not looking for someone to complete you or fill emotional gaps. You show up as a whole person, grounded and secure, not driven by neediness or desperation. This inner peace draws the right people into your life, those who add value rather than chaos, and who complement your journey without becoming the reason for your joy. Contentment teaches you that happiness is not found in someone else's presence, but in your own peace of mind. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you free others from the impossible burden of being responsible for your happiness. Many relationships struggle because one person depends too heavily on the other to feel loved, valued, or secure. But a person who is content brings a different energy into relationships, one that is rooted in gratitude, stability, and joy. This type of energy fosters healthy interactions as both people feel free to be themselves without pressure or pretense. When you are content, you attract relationships based on mutual respect, not need. You no longer feel the urge to chase after people or force connections because you are already at peace with who you are. This patience allows the right relationships to unfold naturally without manipulation or anxiety. Desperation pushes people away, but contentment makes room for relationships to grow organically. You understand that love cannot be rushed or forced. It flows best when both individuals are already at peace within themselves. Contentment also changes the way you choose relationships. When you are satisfied with your life as it is, you do not settle for less than you deserve just to avoid being alone. Many people compromise their standards out of fear of loneliness, entering relationships that drain rather than uplift them. But contentment gives you the strength to wait for what aligns with your values and purpose. You recognize that being alone is better than being with someone who pulls you away from the best version of yourself. In contentment, relationships become a place of giving, not taking. When you are at peace, you approach connections with the mindset of contribution. How can I add value to this relationship rather than what can I get from it? This shift in perspective creates healthier dynamics as both people focus on building each other up. You are no longer concerned with controlling or clinging to the relationship because you trust that what is meant to stay will stay and what is meant to leave will leave. Contentment also brings clarity. When you are satisfied with yourself, you are not blinded by emotional neediness. You can see relationships for what they are without projecting your insecurities onto others. You can recognize red flags early and make wise decisions, choosing relationships that align with your values and goals. This clarity helps you avoid toxic dynamics as you no longer feel the need to ignore warning signs just to keep someone in your life. Moreover, contentment fosters emotional stability, which is essential for healthy relationships. When you are emotionally grounded, you do not overreact to every challenge or disagreement. You are able to communicate calmly, listen actively, and resolve conflicts with grace. Your peace of mind creates a safe space where both people can grow without fear of constant drama or instability. Healthy relationships thrive in environments where both individuals are whole and content. When two content people come together, their relationship is not built on fear, dependency, or insecurity. It is built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. They do not compete for attention or validation, but support each other's growth. Each person adds to the other's life without trying to own or control it. This is the power of contentment. It allows love to flourish without pressure, fear, or conditions. Ultimately, contentment teaches you that relationships are not the source of your happiness, but an expression of it. You are not looking for someone to complete you because you are already whole. Instead, you seek connections that enhance the joy, peace, and purpose you have cultivated within yourself. When contentment is your foundation, you attract relationships that reflect your inner peace, relationships that are life-giving, balanced, and healthy. Learning to enjoy your own company is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It means finding peace, joy, and fulfillment in your time alone without needing the presence, validation, or approval of others to feel whole. When you learn to embrace who you are in solitude, you unlock a deeper sense of freedom. You stop waiting for others to make you feel valued, entertained, or appreciated. You realize that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Enjoying your own company means being comfortable with silence. In a world that constantly demands noise and activity, silence can feel unsettling at first. But silence is where clarity lives. It is in quiet moments that you hear your own thoughts, discover your desires, and reflect on the direction of your life. The more time you spend with yourself, the better you understand your strengths, weaknesses, and dreams. Solitude becomes a space for self-discovery, where you reconnect with your purpose and listen to the whispers of your heart. When you enjoy your own company, you stop needing constant distraction. You no longer fear being alone with your thoughts because you've learned to find joy within. Some people avoid being alone because they are running from unresolved emotions or unfulfilled parts of themselves. But when you embrace solitude, you allow yourself to process your emotions, heal from past wounds, and grow from life's experiences. This inner work makes you stronger, more self-aware, and more in tune with what you need to thrive. Loving your own company also teaches you how to celebrate life on your own terms. You learn to treat yourself well, explore your interests, and find activities that bring you joy. Whether it's going for a walk, reading a book, traveling, or enjoying a meal alone, you discover that happiness is not dependent on anyone else's presence. You realize that you don't need a crowd to feel alive. Your own experiences are valuable, meaningful, and worthy of celebration. This ability to enjoy yourself builds confidence. When you are at ease in your own company, you carry yourself differently. You no longer feel the need to chase people's attention or fill your time with unnecessary commitments to avoid being alone. You become more selective with your relationships because you know that your happiness is not tied to anyone's presence. The relationships you do form come from a place of strength, not need. You are no longer seeking someone to complete you, but to complement the joy you already have. Enjoying your own company also gives you emotional resilience. Life will not always go according to plan. People may come and go, and circumstances may change. But when you know how to be happy on your own, you become unshakable. You carry your peace with you, knowing that your joy is not dependent on what happens around you. This kind of resilience allows you to navigate life's challenges without fear of loneliness. You understand that even in moments of isolation, you are never truly alone. You always have yourself. This practice also teaches you the value of self-care. When you spend time with yourself, you learn to listen to your body and soul. You become more intentional about your well-being, making time to rest, reflect, and recharge. You develop a deeper sense of respect for yourself, which naturally flows into every area of your life. Enjoying your own company is not about isolating yourself from others. It's about making yourself a priority so that you can show up fully in every relationship and endeavor. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you experience freedom from external pressure. You stop worrying about how others perceive you or whether you fit into certain social expectations. You no longer feel the need to conform or compromise yourself for acceptance. Instead, you live authentically, embracing who you are without apology. This kind of freedom allows you to attract relationships and opportunities that align with your true self. Because when you are comfortable with yourself, others are drawn to that same confidence. Ultimately, enjoying your own company is about recognizing that you are enough. You are not waiting for someone to come along and make life enjoyable. You are fully present, engaged, and content in your journey, knowing that your value is not defined by who is with you, but by who you are. This inner joy transforms your life, allowing you to walk through every season, whether in solitude or in community, with peace, purpose, and fulfillment. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers. In a world where noise surrounds us, it can feel uncomfortable to sit quietly with ourselves. But silence is where clarity begins. It creates space for reflection, insight, and perspective, helping us hear the things we often miss amid the busyness of life. When you embrace silence, you allow your mind to settle, your thoughts to align, and your spirit to breathe. In that stillness, you discover the clarity needed to move forward with purpose. Silence forces you to pause and listen, not just to the sounds around you, but to what is happening within. Many people stay busy to avoid facing their fears, doubts, or insecurities. They fill every moment with activity or conversation, thinking that movement alone is progress. But movement without direction leads nowhere. Silence gives you the chance to evaluate your life, your goals, and your choices. It helps you discern whether you are on the right path or merely caught up in the momentum of the moment. Clarity comes when distractions are removed. Silence acts like a filter, allowing you to separate what matters from what doesn't. In the absence of noise, you can hear your inner voice more clearly, those quiet thoughts that reveal your deepest desires, dreams, and values. It's easy to lose sight of these things when you are constantly surrounded by input from others. But silence strips away the clutter and brings you back to what is essential. You begin to see things as they are, not as the world or your emotions have painted them. Silence also brings clarity by creating space for emotional healing. Unresolved emotions cloud your judgment and decision-making. When you avoid silence, you suppress those emotions, hoping they will fade on their own. But healing doesn't come from avoidance, it comes from acknowledgement. In moments of stillness, you can process your emotions, confront your fears, and release what no longer serves you. Clarity follows healing as your heart and mind become free from the burdens that once weighed you down. In silence, you also become more attuned to divine wisdom and intuition. Sometimes the answers you seek are not found through logic or analysis, but through a deeper knowing that arises when you quiet your mind. Clarity often comes as a whisper, not a shout. It is the small voice that tells you, this is the way, walk in it, or it's time to let go. But you cannot hear these whispers unless you are willing to be still. Silence gives room for these insights to emerge. Silence teaches you patience, which is key to gaining clarity. In today's world, we are conditioned to expect instant answers and quick fixes. But true clarity often takes time. It requires waiting, reflecting, and sitting with uncertainty. Silence teaches you that not every answer comes immediately, and that's okay. Sometimes the most important things unfold slowly as your mind and spirit align with the right timing. In the stillness, you learn to trust the process and stop forcing what is not ready to reveal itself. Moreover, silence strengthens your ability to make sound decisions. When your mind is clouded with noise, you are more likely to make choices out of anxiety or impulse. But decisions made in silence are rooted in wisdom. Silence allows you to step back, assess situations objectively, and consider the long-term impact of your choices. It gives you the clarity to act with intention rather than reacting out of fear or pressure. Silence also reveals the truth about relationships and environments. In quiet moments, you begin to notice what feels right and what feels off. You sense when certain connections are draining you rather than uplifting you. You realize which commitments align with your purpose and which ones are pulling you away from it. Clarity in silence helps you make necessary adjustments, whether that means setting boundaries, ending unhealthy relationships, or redirecting your energy toward what truly matters. Finally, silence brings clarity because it reconnects you with yourself. In the stillness, you remember who you are beyond your roles, titles, and responsibilities. You strip away the expectations of others and come back to your true essence. Clarity emerges as you reconnect with your values and vision, reminding you that you do not need to conform to anyone else's definition of success. You see yourself clearly, not through the lens of comparison or societal pressure, but through the eyes of authenticity and purpose. Embrace silence, not as an absence, but as a presence. It is in silence that you meet yourself, hear wisdom, and find the clarity to move forward. The answers you seek are not out there, they are within, waiting for the noise to fade. In silence, you gain direction, peace, and confidence, knowing that clarity will always find those who are still enough to receive it. Freedom from dependency is true power. It is the ability to stand on your own, knowing that your worth, joy, and success are not tied to anyone or anything outside of yourself. Dependency often comes disguised as comfort, leaning on people, circumstances, or habits to feel whole. But the danger lies in the fact that whatever you depend on controls you. If your sense of value or security comes from something external, you are at the mercy of its presence. True power begins when you break free from these dependencies and realize that everything you need to live a fulfilled life already resides within you. When you free yourself from dependency, you take control of your life. You are no longer waiting for someone to rescue you or for ideal circumstances to align before you move forward. Dependency makes you passive, waiting on others to make decisions or create opportunities for you. But when you free yourself, you reclaim your ability to act, choose, and create. You step into a position of power where your progress is no longer limited by what others do or don't do. You understand that your destiny is not in their hands, it's in yours. Breaking free from dependency liberates your relationships. When you depend on others to feel loved, validated, or whole, you place an unfair burden on them. No person was designed to carry the weight of your happiness. This type of dependency often leads to frustration and disappointment because it creates expectations that no one can meet. But when you learn to stand on your own, relationships become healthier. You no longer need people to complete you. You connect with them out of abundance, not lack. Freedom from dependency allows you to give freely, love unconditionally, and release the need for constant reassurance. Freedom from financial dependency is another source of power. When you rely on others for your financial well-being, you give away control over your future. Dependency can make you hesitant, afraid to make bold decisions because you fear losing the support you become accustomed to. But financial independence brings freedom. It empowers you to make choices based on purpose, not pressure. You can pursue opportunities aligned with your vision rather than settling for what keeps you comfortable. You move from survival mode to a place of abundance where you dictate your future instead of being dictated by circumstances. Dependency on habits or external comforts can also rob you of power. Whether it's unhealthy coping mechanisms or reliance on constant entertainment, these things create the illusion of relief but keep you trapped. True power lies in the ability to manage your emotions and thoughts without crutches. When you break free from unhealthy dependencies, you develop emotional resilience. You learn to handle challenges without needing an escape, and you become stronger with each test. Freedom from dependency on distractions gives you focus, clarity, and control over your time and energy. Dependency can also manifest as approval seeking. Many people tie their self-worth to the opinions of others, constantly chasing validation to feel valuable. But relying on others' approval leaves you vulnerable when their opinions change. So does your sense of worth. Breaking free from this dependency gives you power. You realize that your value is not defined by what others think or say about you. You become secure in your identity, and your confidence is no longer swayed by external opinions. This inner security gives you the courage to live authentically, aligned with your purpose, regardless of how others perceive you. Freedom from dependency also brings emotional stability. When you are dependent on things or people for your sense of peace, you are easily shaken when they change or leave. But when you find your peace within, you become unshakable. Your joy is not tied to people's presence or absence. Your stability does not depend on circumstances. This inner freedom gives you the power to face life's uncertainties with calm assurance, knowing that you are enough no matter what comes or goes. This freedom cultivates self-reliance. You learn to trust your own judgment, develop your skills, and rely on the abilities that God has placed within you. You stop waiting for permission to succeed and begin taking action on the vision in your heart. Dependency often creates a sense of helplessness, making you feel as though you need others to accomplish what you were called to do. But freedom from dependency restores your confidence, reminding you that you have what it takes to achieve your goals and fulfill your purpose. Ultimately, freedom from dependency unlocks your potential. When you are no longer tied to people, habits, or circumstances for your sense of worth and direction, you discover what you are truly capable of. You are free to grow, explore, and become the best version of yourself. Dependency limits your ability to dream and act boldly, but freedom opens the door to new possibilities. You begin to walk in your own power, knowing that you have everything within you to build the life you were meant to live. This is the essence of true power, being whole and secure on your own. It doesn't mean you reject relationships or help. It means you approach life from a place of strength, not weakness. You no longer lean on others out of necessity, but walk with them in partnership, freely giving and receiving. Freedom from dependency is not isolation, it is empowerment. It allows you to live with purpose, love without fear, and face life with courage, knowing that no matter what happens, you are still standing whole, capable, and free. Learn to stand firm in who you are, knowing that your value is not tied to anyone or anything outside of you. When you are happy alone, you walk with a different kind of confidence. You stop chasing, start living, and life begins to align in your favor.